How do I sustain on veganism when you have a family that eats meat and you only have so much income to get by every month? All right, awesome topic request from Jeff on Patreon. I'm glad that my work has encouraged you to adopt a vegan lifestyle. But before we can even discuss how to create a sustainable lifestyle, we need to have a sustainable mindset that can fuel that lifestyle forever. So let's begin. So before we can even choose to become a vegan, we need to have a strong moral philosophy on why we chose to become a vegan. First, we have to really acknowledge that veganism is not just a diet, it's beyond a diet. And in fact, it's beyond us. It's about a cause that extends to the environment, animals, and human welfare. So just think about whenever you encounter a problem as a vegan or someone's putting you down, try to remind yourself that your lifestyle is helping solve problems beyond the issues of the individual modern human. Not to say that your problems cannot be validated, but the acts of service, in many cases, can have much more self-fulfillment value than your own personal issues, which is not to be confused with self-care. Now, if you remember, I said in my book, there are many jobs that people can do to service themselves, but their true most fulfilling job is one that fuels their passion while serving others. Some societies encourage obtaining degrees and working jobs to consume materialistic things for self-interest. Ironically, hardly anyone in this mindset of self-interest stays happy forever. Happiness comes and goes like every emotion. When people serve others, they find out who they are concerning the collective. They share the experience through each other's eyes, attaining a broader life experience. Now, once you've understood this, hopefully your family can be understanding and supportive on why you have decided to embark on this journey, or are at least open-minded to being educated about it. Obviously, you would first need to be grounded and educated yourself before jumping into debates. These are some great resources to check out if you desire a high degree of knowledge on veganism that you can use in your discussions. However, it's not always that easy, especially if your family is very stubborn. You might have to very aggressively stand your ground or even part ways if they become too toxic. Now, given that humans are naturally tribal in nature, it's pretty common.
Bro, what is that? It looks like baby food.
Dude, don't you need gains to get the girls? You need protein, sweetheart.
1 hour later.
There's no way you're gonna get any muscles out of that, bro. I know like 5 bodybuilders, they don't eat any of that.
Dude, if you
they
want
just eat
girls,
meat,
you need protein.
they eat steaks, 5 steaks a day.
If some aspect like veganism sets you apart from the rest of the family or tribe, then it may unconsciously be perceived as a threat. So if they're mocking you, it's really just their insecurities that they're projecting onto you as their own defense mechanism to justify the toxic traditions that they have been following their whole life.
And men fear most what they cannot see.
In fact, most of the revolutionaries that we have collectively admired were once mocked before they utterly changed the political fabric of our realities. So never be afraid to be mocked and ridiculed, because you just might be setting the foundations for future generations to follow. So let's take an extreme example of a toxic tradition so that we can see the moral line much more clearly. If Joe loved his family, but his family had a serial killing business and Joe did not want to kill, should Joe succumb to his family's toxic traditions to avoid being mocked by them? Or should he be the change he wishes to see in his family? Well, now most people would say Joe should stand his ground. See, take it to the extreme, you'll find the answer. But just to be clear, I'm not saying that meat eaters are necessarily serial killers, and I'm not also saying to abandon your entire family if they are meat eaters and you're the only vegan. I'm just saying that the last thing you want to be is gaslighted for standing your ground. So personally, I think the best way to stand your ground is first, Introduce your moral compass with logic and reason. Communicate it to your whole family that you are advancing into this lifestyle, and be prepared to answer all sorts of questions. So it's important that you watch a lot of vegan educational videos on the topics you get asked about, like mine. Next, I would recommend explicitly saying thank you every time someone makes something vegan specifically for you, so there is positive reinforcement.
Thank you.
You don't have to thank me.
And lastly, you want to occasionally share your vegan food with your family so that they can be part of your lifestyle and serve a side of vegan education with it too. Like watch a documentary about veganism while you're eating. Now this whole process can take a few months to get used to, but if you do this right, it will get a lot easier later on. So I hope this answers your question. And speaking of answers, your second question was, how do you afford the lifestyle when you have only so much to get by every month? So some vegan food can be very expensive, but what I always tell people is that healthy food is not expensive, it's that trash food is trash cheap. My doctor told me a long time ago that most of his patients that have the highest medical bills are living off the trashiest, cheapest foods. So just think of it this way, what is really more expensive? Medical bills for your diseases and complications, or paying $1 more for plant milk? So with me, I always like to think of food as your first and primary luxury because it can really make or break your health. And if you think about it, we all buy iPhones, we all buy cars, we all buy these things that aren't really necessary, but they are a lot more expensive than the healthy food that we're buying. But hey, even if you don't want to buy all those healthier vegan alternatives like Beyond Meat and Daiya cheese, and absolutely need to save your money, a whole foods plant-based diet might be the answer if you really want to budget. A whole foods plant-based diet is composed of mainly vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes, rice, seeds, and nuts, which are some of the cheapest things you will find at a grocery store. Follow this food pyramid and you will not only save a ton of money, but feel a lot healthier than ever before. I dare you to just watch the Game Changers and just see exactly how professional athletes were able to change their entire life in terms of their energy and health just by adopting a whole foods plant-based diet. You'll be blown away. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this talk. And if you have any questions or comments, be sure to let me know down below. And be sure to share this video with people that you think might find it interesting and that are going through the same issue. And if you'd like to pick a topic for me to do, be sure to check me out on Patreon, where you can get all these cool rewards, vote on executive decisions for my content, get my t-shirts, and much more. So with that, I'll see you next time. Peace begins on your dinner plate.